Dear neighbor, my name is Emma. I am 25 years old and I was born and raised in Southwest Michigan. I am fortunate to have a supportive network of family and friends, as well as hardworking parents who have always given me love and security. My parents taught me to value education and to have a strong work ethic. I have big dreams for myself and I decided to invest in my future by taking out significant student loans to go to college. I graduated from Western Michigan University in 2020 with a bachelor's degree in video and media studies and a minor in nonprofit leadership. I don't like making excuses for myself, but graduating during a pandemic and trying to find jobs in that environment wasn't easy, and I was unemployed for some time. Thankfully, my parents are letting me live with them while I try to make a career for myself. I currently work multiple part-time jobs to make my student loan payments and maintain my car. One of my jobs is in my chosen field. I'm a videographer at a nonprofit. My other jobs are simply to pay the bills. I want to move out of my parents' house and live on my own, but as much as I work, I still can't afford any decent rental options in our area. Sometimes I feel really stuck, and I know other people my age are facing the same things I am, but I'm one of the lucky ones. With all the advantages I have had in my life, how hard must it be for people with much bigger challenges than me? So initially, when I started reading this, I thought of myself when I was her age, so I think there's a lot of people who are in Emma's shoes. But in reality, a lot of the people that we work with aren't as fortunate as Emma. They don't have the family support. They don't have the options even to live with the families. So it's really hard reading this letter because I feel for Emma, but I also think of all the other people who are facing so many challenges with housing. If anything, I think that it's gotten worse. We are seeing less and less affordable housing for people. We see more people like Emma who have to have multiple jobs just to make ends meet, and they're still not able to pay for housing. There's just not enough affordable housing, subsidized housing that is based on your income. So one thing that we saw through the local planning body is that during COVID, there were a lot of funds to help people maintain their housing. The unfortunate part of that is there was no funding to help people with mortgages. So we saw a lot of people, homeowners, that were losing their homes and there was no place for them to go. Another issue is that people are trying to save their affordable housing when they have it, so they're just not leaving it. And so as we see more people in that ALICE population that are not able to afford rent, and we're seeing rent increase exponentially over the last 2 years, we just are not finding people that can find housing, and we're seeing more people on the streets, unfortunately, or doubled up. Well, the role of the local planning body is to work on ending homelessness. So our role is to oversee the grants that are awarded to each county to try to keep people in their current housing, and to try to find housing, affordable housing for people who are homeless. That population are chronically homeless, domestic violence victims, people who are living in their cars or in shelters or in places not habitable, and then of course people who are doubled up, living with family and friends. That, we see people in a 2-bedroom house with 3 families of, adults and their children. One case, there was 14 people living in a 2-bedroom home because there just wasn't any other option at the moment. So domestic violence victims have a unique problem in that they're living with an abuser. And so at any moment, they can become homeless. If they're fleeing their abuser, the issue is there's no housing for immediate assistance. In Van Buren County, where our agency is, there's no DV shelter. So we have to try to find a place for them outside of the county. And that causes issues because if their children are in school, how do they get to school? Oftentimes they don't have transportation. They haven't been allowed to work, so they don't have a credit history. Or if they have a credit history, their abusive partner has exploited that, so their credit's horrible. Or they've had previous evictions for holes in the walls or police contact. So there's all kinds of issues facing them, and there's just not a whole lot of options out there for immediate housing. So there are people out there that are working hard and they're trying to save money to buy housing. And one option that many have thought would be affordable is to find a modular home. The issue that we're running into is that if you are trying to buy a home that is a modular home, you can't get a conventional loan without a substantial down payment. So in this case, the home was selling for $100,000 on a nice plot of land, but it was a modular home, and so the bank required a 20% down payment, so that's $20,000. People who are trying to make ends meet cannot come up with $20,000, and if they could, I mean, that's a down payment on any home, really, but that's what they were requiring. So even when they're trying to find affordable options, they're being asked for unaffordable down payments. I know that very few people from any generation have had it easy, and I'm not asking for special treatment. I want to earn my accomplishments so I can be proud of myself. I count my blessings every day, and I know that my perseverance will pay off. I'm making connections and getting good experience that will lead to better professional opportunities and higher earnings, and someday I will have a home of my own. But my work at a nonprofit has taught me a lot about the challenges people face. People who are just as hardworking as me, but who have bigger obstacles and less help overcoming them than I do. That's why I'm writing this letter, not just for me, but for all of them too, with the hope that our community will rally behind those of us who are struggling to get affordable housing, and that our neighbors will be inspired to advocate for solutions to this crisis so everyone can afford the housing that every person deserves. We need to get together as a community. We need to donate to places like the United Way, and we need to create housing in our community that's affordable for everybody. Not just extremely low-income housing, not super high rises for the wealthy. We need to find housing that is affordable for people in the middle, for those people in Alice population who are working hard every day but still can't afford housing. There's no reason that a 2-bedroom house or apartment should cost $1,500 a month. What we need as a local planning body is to get more organizations behind us. We need more collaboration with all the area agencies so that we can all work together to solve this problem. We need landlords to understand that our population is not going to destroy their homes. They're very proud individuals. They take pride in their homes. And so just because they need a little extra assistance doesn't mean that they're going to be poor tenants. We need landlords to join our local planning bodies so they understand what's going on out there and so that they can collaborate with us as well. We've worked really hard to form relationships with local landlords, and even landlords who have in the past not wanted to take like a housing choice voucher or a project-based voucher or something like that have worked closely with us to learn that these people take extreme pride in their homes and that now they will only rent to people who are going through our programs. So that's a great success. They're not, criminals. They're people who are working hard just like you and me, and they're trying to own their own home and be stable.
Affordable housing is more than just an address. It can be a safe space or a refuge from your day. It can be a place where you find connections with your neighbors and friendships. It can be a place where you get more involved with your community. What we learned by talking to people all over Southwest Michigan is that what people aspire to most for their community is a sense of connection and cohesion. We all want the same things: a safe place to stay and food on the table. Affordable, quality housing is really key to making this vision happen.